Right. Hi guys. First, I hope we're staying safe, washing your hands, not going out and about, just staying home, doing your e-learning, and then, chilling out on the couch, catching up on your Netflix. So on Friday, you guys had an assignment where you were looking at the different ways we forget things and the different ways we can extend our memory. So the worksheet itself was on paper for most of you, but a few of you were absent on Friday, so I uploaded a digital copy. I'm going to show you where to find that digital copy real quick. So the digital copy, for those of you who are gone on Friday, hopefully you already grabbed it. It's in Google Classroom. And I just posted an announcement right here. So if you're absent on Friday, this was a reading assignment, you do need your digital ebook, which you guys all have access to, and then the assignment is right here. So that was your makeup work from Friday. Let's see. Okay, so today what we're going to do is go over that assignment together really quickly. And I'm going to show you the new format that I'm uploading stuff for e-learning, so that way you can keep each of the days completely separate and know what's going on each day. Okay, so we're going to start with the review over the assignment. So what we're going to do is share the content again. I should have just kept it up. That's okay. Okay. So content is right here. So yours will look a little bit different than mine. Yours looks like that digital one that was brought up, but this covers everything. So we're reviewing memory and forgetting. So the first part, I asked you to distinguish between recognition versus recall. So recognition is literally just, do I know if something is familiar to me? Oh, yes, I recognize that house. Oh, I recognize that person. I recognize that term. I know that I'm familiar with it. I've been exposed to it before. Recall is when you're able to bring up the learned information and either think about it or communicate about it. So instead of saying, oh, I recognize that house, it's, oh, that's the house where this happened, this person lived there, so on and so forth. So over here I have an example. So recognition, oh, that's my friend. I know that's my friend. Recall, oh, that's my friend John. John is the person, so I'm recalling his name. It looks like this guy's having a little issue recalling the name. Okay, the other example is down here. So recognition, oh, I've heard of the Manhattan Project, versus if I ask you about the Manhattan Project, you can tell me, oh, this was, during World War II, they were studying, nuclear weaponry, led to nuclear weapons, Robert Oppenheimer was involved, all of that stuff. So recognition, am I familiar with it? Recall, can I reconstruct the information? So then why do we forget? All right, so what causes us to forget? So decay is what causes forgetfulness. This is the fading of memories over time. If you don't rehearse the information, or you don't, think about it again, you don't use it frequently, you will forget it. This is why so many parents can't remember how to do basic algebra, because they've not had to rehearse that information for the last however many decades, and then all of a sudden, they're being asked to help their 5th grader, 6th grader, 7th grader with their homework, and it's very frustrating because you're trying to recover these memories that have faded over time. Now, new versus old memories. We tend to lose more new memories than old ones. And that's because of this stuff down here. So remember, sensory memory, short-term memory, those are all memories. We lose these frequently. When you walk around the school, when you drive around to get home or whatever, you are registering that stuff. It's in your memory. You're thinking about it at the time, and then once it's no longer useful, you forget about it. So new memories, they're the ones that, disappear faster. We forget them. We don't need to remember them. Long-term memories, though, old memories, we've maintained them, we have practiced them, we use the skill, we remember them. So old memories stick around longer because they have withstood the test of time already. They're not likely to fade anymore. So they withstood the early memory dump, they're likely to stick around. Interference is the next thing I asked you about, what causes problems with memory. So the first is proactive interference. So an older memory gets in the way of remembering something new. So this is a bank safe, but I was going to talk to you about your lockers. So last year, you got a locker combination, and it was a new one. Okay, over time, you learned that new locker combination. So this year, when you got your new locker, some of you may have had a hard time remembering your old locker combination, or sorry, you might have had a hard time learning your new locker combination because your old one got in the way, and that would be proactive interference. So when the old combination memory gets in the way of learning something new, that's proactive. Now, at this point in the school year, you're so used to doing your current locker combination that if somebody asked you about your old one, you'd probably have a difficult time remembering it unless there was something special about your locker combination. So if you're having a difficult time remembering your old one because all you remember is your new one, that's retroactive interference. Something new gets in the way of remembering something old. So one that's kind of a unique situation is repression. Okay. So repression is when we subconsciously block a memory from rising because of its content, whether it was too traumatizing, too embarrassing, stuff like that. We don't want to think about it. So we have, I have this chicken over here. So my aunt, when she was about 6, had a traumatizing experience with a chicken. So my dad's side of the family lived on a farm. My dad was about 20 at this time, and he was asked to go, get a chicken for dinner. So he chops off the chicken's head and throws it at his little sister, who was only 6. And as chickens will sometimes do, the body of the chicken continued to walk around for a few moments after it was decapitated. So just by happenstance, the chicken followed the direction that my aunt ran away from it. And because that was a traumatic experience, she repressed the incident for quite a long time. She didn't want to think about it. It was traumatic. It was not a good thing for her. So we're subconsciously blocking a memory from rising because we don't want to remember it. Oh, I think I forgot to talk about amnesia. Okay, amnesia is forgetfulness due to head injury or trauma specifically. Okay, so Clive in the video that we watched had amnesia because he couldn't make new memories due to his head injury in the hippocampus. So somebody who gets a concussion, a lot of times they won't be able to remember the incident, or they won't be able to remember things from right before or right after the incident because the brain trauma caused amnesia. Infant amnesia, we just don't remember anything from our early childhood or birth or anything like that. And most people think it's because it's just too traumatizing for us to remember. Cognitive psychologists and neuroscientists, a lot of them say our brains just aren't developed to remember that stuff at that point. But those are the interferences. Sorry, I forgot to put it on here. Okay, so how do we improve memory? Okay, so short-term memory, we talked about a bunch of these. So elaborative rehearsal, maintenance rehearsal, and mnemonic devices are all helpful for short-term memory. So elaborative rehearsal, some of you guys did this when we did our activity on Thursday. So you looked at the words or the images on the screen that you were trying to memorize, and you made a story, or you connected them to things in the room, or you built a room in your head to remember what it was. That's elaborative rehearsal. You're connecting the stuff to other things. Maintenance rehearsal is what most of you did, where you just went over the information in your head over and over and over again, so you repeated the list to yourself. And then mnemonic devices. These can be used both in long-term and short-term memory extension. Mnemonic devices include things like, every good boy deserves fudge for remembering the lines of the treble clef, or face to remember the spaces on the treble clef. You may also have learned the orders of operation in math by learning Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, or PEMDAS. And then, you're able to remember those a little bit easier in the short term. Now, long-term memory. if you want to keep something in your long-term memory, there are a few techniques you can use. So first, you can overlearn the material. Go over it again and again and again. And as you do that, it becomes more ingrained. Spacing out your studying. Don't study for your final all in one night. You know, don't spend 4 hours in one night. Spend 4 hours over the course of a week looking over the stuff on your own. And that's going to help you remember more of it. Be in a similar setting. So if you know that you're going to be taking a test in a very quiet setting, you should do your studying in a quiet setting. So you're, you know, giving your body the cues and the triggers to help you remember more things when you do get to the test. Associate learning with strong emotions. This also works just for experiential memory. So if you have a situation that you're very joyful or scared or ecstatic or happy or sad, we're going to remember those more because they're connected to that emotion memory as well. Okay, and then the short-term memory tricks from up here, these will help with long-term as well. So if you continue to, you know, use your elaborative rehearsal, you remember your mnemonic devices, you just go over the material in your head, it will continue to go. So maintenance rehearsal is a little bit like overlearning. You can also like repeat what you hear out loud, make a note of things. We talked about making associations, stuff like that. So it's pretty straightforward. You should be good to go on that. Okay, now, today, what I need for each of you to do is to turn in this page. So you did the front, we just went over the front. And then I need you to turn in this page. So 5A and B. So if you have it on paper, you're just going to take a picture of your answer and you're going to turn that in to the assignment for today's e-learning. Now, e-learning is going to cause everything to be set up a little bit different. So normally I know you guys go through and just do the stream. Okay. Oh, also, a bunch of you still haven't turned this in. Oh, more of you have. That's good. Okay. So most of you go to the stream. For e-learning, what I'm going to ask you to do is always go to classwork, and you'll see I have already 2 e-learning days kind of set up. So for today, it's Wednesday, March 18th. This is where the video is going to be, and this is where the assignment is. So you're going to turn in, you know, the picture of question 5A and B here. Now, once you're done with turning in those pictures, you do have this quick check for understanding thing right here. So you're going to do this Google form and turn that in, and that's all you have to do today. So watch the video, turn in 5A and B, and then the Google form. Tomorrow you'll have the video, the review, and then, you know, go on from there. So each day will have its own topic, so you can see exactly what you need to do for each day. Okay. All right, so I think we're mostly good. Oh, the tests. I'm not planning on sending out any like 50-point tests over Google Forms. That's just too much and too much temptation to cheat and that kind of stuff. So what you guys are going to be doing is a series of small, just little check for understanding type quizzes, which will build up those assessment points. So that way it's not skewed if and when we finally do get to go back to school. So we'll be doing a few Google Form things. They'll go quickly. They'll be over the stuff that we talked about either that day or have been talking about over a day or two. But they'll be there. Also, I want to remind you, I sent out that email that explained the Zoom meetings. So I do have open meetings for psychology at 10:30 to 11 and then at 1 to 1:30 each day. So I'll send out those invites over Google Classroom if you want to join the meeting. Doesn't matter what class period you're in, you can go to either meeting. And then again, as always, you can try to, you know, Zoom, contact me through Zoom. At any other point, send me an email. I do have 3 meetings scheduled each day for my geography kiddos. So if you don't get a hold of me through Zoom right away, maybe wait a little bit, call me back later, or send me an email telling me when you want to talk to me or when a good time for me to call you or set up a meeting with you would be, and we can just figure it out that way. So, all right, I think that's it. I don't want this to get any longer. You guys are good. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will do my absolute best to make sure you get all of the answers you need. So we're in this together. We can do this, and I'm going to talk to you guys tomorrow.